Great stuff. All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Raw and Relentless. I got my buddy Jeremy on. Jeremy, tell the folks a little bit about yourself, what you're doing, what you're up to, and we'll hit it off.
Excellent, man. Jeremy Jenson, founder and CEO of Encore Search Partners. We're a 40-person executive recruitment firm headquartered here in Houston. I'm a divorced father of three, self-made entrepreneur, and yeah, I'm a huge proponent of self-improvement in all facets of life, whether it's health and wellness, mental health, relationships, fatherhood, being an ex-husband, being a great and elite son and brother. I'm a huge consumer of social media content that motivates and inspires me to become a better version of myself. That's who I am.
That's awesome, man. Houston. I got some family down in Houston, and one of my good friends lives down in Houston. And I have a lot of family that lives in Florida too. I thought Florida was humid. Houston puts Florida to shame.
Oh man, we got to make sure that the AC, we have backups for our air conditioner. That's how humid it is down here, man. Yeah. And so, at least it keeps people from wanting to be fat asses all the time, right?
Yeah.
Because you're just going to melt whenever you walk outside.
So we were chatting a little bit before I hit record, but you actually were saying that you lost 80 some pounds.
77. Don't be rounding up for me, man. I don't want any stolen valor.
Okay. 77 pounds. That's awesome. So you used to weigh what?
Yeah, so I was 284. Now I'm about 210, but at my lowest, I was about 207. But yeah, man, it was a decision that I'd made because, I was divorced in 2019. You had a couple $1,000,000 in the bank. I was living a very gluttonous lifestyle, throwing parties, eating out every night, drinking every night.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2021 came, I decided that I wanted to pursue a serious relationship, and I put on my hat and said I'm going to go out there and find my future wife. And what I didn't realize is when you weigh 280 pounds, all you attract is gold diggers. And so I said, "Fuck, man, I need to focus on myself for about a year." And then that way I could have access to something that's real, right?
Yeah.
Something where somebody was actually attracted to me and not just attracted to the Dior bags and the Chanel bags that these fat guys buy their girls.
Right. So what originally, what made you make your millions?
Yeah, so I started my first business in 2010. It was an email marketing and lead generation company. So basically we did email blasts trying to sell people's products and services. I was in my mid 20s. I was making about $250,000 a year, but I'd run out of hours in the day. And so I remember it was late 2012. I was looking at my client base, and about half my clients were staffing and recruiting companies. I said, fuck, I'm sitting here charging these guys $3-4 grand a month, and they're making tens of thousands, if not $100,000 a month off of what I'm doing for them. I'm in the wrong business.
Mm-hmm.
And so in January of 2013, I changed my business model and I started a staffing and recruiting company. And this year we'll do about 11.5 million in revenue. We've got 40 employees, and there's no cost of goods sold, right? So that's all gross margin. And we're the largest privately held direct hire recruiting firm in Houston. I'm not sure where we rank in the state of Texas, but man, we're on track to smash a bunch of goals, and I'm really optimistic and excited for the future with regards to Encore Search.
I want to get into that in a minute, but I want to circle back to your email marketing, because this is something somewhat near and dear to my heart right now, because this is something I have been trying to perfect in my businesses in the last 12 to 18 months, because we rely heavily on email marketing and text marketing and our email marketing. So let me just throw some stats to you, and I want to get your reaction. So with the gyms, I have 2 businesses that we use email marketing, right? With the gyms, all of the email marketing, they're not cold leads, they're warm leads. So they're people that fill out a form on one of our ads, or, they come to the website and get a free pass. So they're somewhat warm leads. Our open rates on the warm leads on our prospects are about 5 to 10%. and our click-through rates are 0.05%.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, man. I think in order to get free passes, a lot of people just give like their old Yahoo and Gmail addresses, right? You probably got a bunch of AOL and SBC Globals in there. We're a B2B sell, right? So
Mm,
we're selling to CFOs and CEOs and HR directors. So the open rate on a work email is exponentially higher than on your
sure,
Yahoo email,
sure.
right? So I guess the short answer is it's a little bit different than what we do. I think that in a B2C environment, there's no better marketing resource than social media, man. I
Yeah.
mean, when you guys can create an organic following on Instagram, on TikTok, I'm not sure what the age demographic of your clients is, maybe on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
but if you're getting 8,000 views on a story, right? And you're making it engaging and fun and creating opportunities for them to share to their network and doing giveaways and things of that nature. That's really what's going to unlock a lot of your conversion is kind of
Mm,
like social media. And I've built up a pretty strong organic following on LinkedIn just because we're B2B. I've got about 50,000 followers there.
wow.
And then when I got divorced in 2019, I created an Instagram, and I use a lot of the same methodologies and strategies in order to grow my organic following on LinkedIn. I implemented it on Instagram, and now I've got about 32,000 on Instagram, and I get a ton of engagement there. And so it's a great mechanism in order to build my personal brand. But what I've found is on Instagram, nobody wants to hear about my work shit. They just
Mm.
want to see the parties that I'm throwing, the restaurants that I'm going to, the girls that I'm posting. And
Yeah.
so it's important to understand what the buying psychology is for your audience on every specific platform.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's kind of how you really grew your Instagram following, is just kind of the lifestyle that you could have if you are successful in business.
Yeah, yeah, and it's funny that you share that because there's a lot of people that are not millionaires and they want to flex and showcase a lifestyle that they are
Sure.
in order to get organic following. But I'll tell you, that's a very expensive life to live.
Yeah.
And what's messed up is if you finally get a lead in your funnel of a girl that's interested in you, well, guess what, man? She's going to want you to take her to all the nice restaurants and all the travel destinations that you've been posting. And so you can't really hold it against her
Mm-hmm.
that she's wanting you to continue the lifestyle that you baited her with,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
And so that's a challenge in today's kind of social media environment. It's got a lot of fucking posers out there, man.
Yeah. Yeah. People always renting their Lambos or renting fake jet sets, and yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, and then now with AI, man, these are super sophisticated tools that can generate an image that
Yeah.
almost looks even better than a real photograph image and more real.
Totally. Yeah.
Mm.
I got friends that will send me like girls on Instagram, and I'll be like, dude, that's AI. They're like, no way. I'm like, that is AI. It's so
Yeah,
crazy how good AI has gotten with that stuff.
yeah. And just imagine what it's going to be like in 2 years,
I
man. I
know.
mean, it's scary.
Yeah.
And so, what I'm finding is, in a lot of the stuff that would go viral on LinkedIn and Instagram, 2 years ago, it's completely different now,
Yep.
right? Like, 2 years ago, it was a lot about flexing, and
Hmm.
now it's a lot about failure and vulnerability and authenticity, and people relate more to individuals being a little bit more transparent of like the shit going wrong
Yep.
as opposed to just showing off all the shit going right.
Yep. Yeah, totally.
Dude, you're dying over there, bro. You got that COVID-19?
No, I
Uh,
just I don't know. I get this stupid ass freaking cough from a weather change, and then it just doesn't go away. Sorry about
yeah,
that.
it's all good. Yeah, we got to get you some stuff up here to insulate you from the weather,
I
brother.
know. Yeah, right. So now you went from that business, and you're doing the human resource placement. So how did you shift from email marketing into that?
It was really still the same email marketing strategies, but instead of emailing everyone trying to get people to sign up for our client services, we just started emailing everyone saying, hey, if you need to find people to hire, we can do it. Right. And so you flash back to 2013, we were getting upwards of a 70% open rate and about a 12% response rate. That's what it was back then. Now, we didn't use graphics. We didn't, embed cookies or anything out there in order to do any type of tracing or anything like that. It was just a rich text through a mail merge on Microsoft Outlook, right? And now, by utilizing the same tools and strategies that we did in 2013 that would get a 12% response rate, we're at 0.5% response rate, right?
Wow.
Now, the good thing is, hell, I could send 1,000 emails for free. Right? And even at 0.5%, you're looking at 5 leads, right? It was important for us to build a brand before all of the different marketing AI, marketing automation, and all that stuff came out, because the barrier to market entry today is going to be so much more difficult because people want to do business with brands that they trust. Because there's so many different scam artists out there. It's almost impossible to have a startup today.
Right. It is. It's hard to start up anything right now. I mean, even the cost of capital required to start a business is insane nowadays. And especially now you've got interest rates that are through the roof.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so if I could give a piece of advice to your entrepreneur listeners, I would tell you, if you're going to start a business, sell products or services to people that have a shit ton of fucking money, right? Because if you want to offer a solution like Planet Fitness selling $10 a month, right, for gym services, I'll tell you, your cost of customer acquisition is going to be way too high. Right. Luckily, Planet Fitness got in the game 30 years ago. Right. And so if you're going to provide a fitness experience, it's my advice, and again, this is your domain, but provide a very intensive, holistic experience where you could do concierge men's lifestyle and health for $3,000 a month. Right. You come in, you help people with, their testosterone, semaglutide, minoxidil, finasteride, all kinds of HGH and things of that nature. You're providing style advice. Maybe you're introducing them to new social circles and start getting invited to nightlife scenes, right? Coupled with providing a fitness experience. There's a lot of fucking rich guys out there that are bored sitting on a couple $1 million at home that are just swiping right on fucking Hinge. They need to be paying some fitness concierge $3,000-$4,000 a month to really level up their game.
You're 100% right, because anything in business is cyclical, right? And so Planet Fitness back in the day, right, 10, 15 years ago, was the hottest thing on the block. They were blowing up. They recently went public a few years ago. And now what's happening is the market is shifting. People don't want that type of gym anymore. What we're starting to see in the industry now are it's starting to swing back to the other way, like in the 90s, the lifter style gym, right? And so perfect example is down by you, I think, is Alpha Elite, right?
Alpha Land.
Alpha Elite is the clothing brand of the Alpha Land side. Alpha Land. So that is what people are going towards, and they're building these crazy experiential gyms that are offering amazing equipment, not your traditional Life Fitness or Hammer Strength. They're doing the boutique style fitness machines. Shit, man. Even my friend sent me today, there's a gym opening in Arizona, and their membership's kind of what you're talking about. They start at $150 a month. They go all the way up to $700. But with that, you're getting recovery. So you get cold plunge, you get red light therapy, you get sauna, you get IV drips, you get HRT, you get all of that included in the membership now. So not only are you getting a gym, but you're saying you're getting all of these services built into it that you come in and it's a one-stop shop. It's brilliant.
And it's a lifestyle, man. Somebody that's dropping $700 a month, that's not something that you just ignore on a billing statement on your Amex, right? I mean, in order to get an ROI, you've got to commit to a lifestyle. But it's those raving fans that it creates where, those institutions become influencer gyms, and other people want to post it to flex that
Yep.
they are members,
Yep.
right? And so you have all these other individuals doing marketing for you
Yep.
just because you spent a couple $1,000,000 on tenant improvement,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. 100%, man. You're absolutely right. That's the way the industry's going. I mean,
100%.
yeah. Now you're since you're doing people placement, but you're strictly executive, right?
Well, we do 150K and above, right? So, we do some technical salespeople, some engineers, mid-level manager. We call ourselves a direct hire recruitment firm that specializes in tough to find people.
Mm-hmm.
Our bread and butter, we work with a lot of wealth advisors, a lot of attorneys, private equity, venture capital, the types of people that when you hire someone, they generate revenue for the company,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So if I have a lawyer and she makes 250 grand a year, but I'm billing her out at $800 an hour times 2,000 hours a year,
Yeah.
she's billing 1.6 million in revenue for the firm.
Yep.
You think they give a fuck paying me $80,000 to find her?
Yeah.
No, they say I need two of them.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and you got to sell expensive shit to rich people.
Yeah.
That's the key to success.
That's do you follow Alex Hormozy at all?
I love Alex Hormozy. He's a little too jacked for my liking, but what an amazing communicator, dude.
Yeah.
That guy's ability. Oh, he's like, next level smart.
Well, that's exactly what he's preaching right now is he's like, you are not charging enough for your product or your service. Charge more. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Alex Hormozy, even Layla Hormozy has
Yeah.
got some great content. Cody Sanchez,
Cody
I don't know if you
Sanchez.
follow
Yep.
her, is amazing.
Yep.
These are the influencers that inspire me in business, in personal. And guess what? What Cody, Layla, and Alex all have that I didn't have a year and a half ago, a commitment to fitness.
Yeah.
But it's all vertically integrated, man.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just be rich now. You got to be the full package, dude, or you're not fucking shit.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. So you got into fitness and you lost all this weight. I'm going to round up. You lost 80 pounds. You're only 3 pounds off. So I'm going to say 80, which
Yeah,
is.
I better get in the sauna when I get home. I make you a liar. Yeah.
So what was your strategy to lose that weight?
Yeah. So, I talked to my life coach about it, and I was struggling with getting into the gym just from a motivation standpoint. I was hungover every morning. I was going out, overeating, over drinking, living a very promiscuous life. And then I'd gotten a serious committed relationship at the beginning of last year with an individual who prioritized fitness as a lifestyle. And she kind of is the one that introduced me to the gym life. And it was still a fucking pain in the ass, but I was introduced to something called pickleball. I don't know if you've ever played pickleball.
Fastest growing sport in the U.S. right now.
I'm a partner in Honcho Pickleball League.
Okay.
We're in 39 different cities nationwide. But the point that I'm making is that was an amazing opportunity for me to invest my time and energy into something that would still appease me from a social standpoint and a competitive standpoint. And accidentally, I was living a life of fitness, right? Because I was keeping my heart rate up. I was on the court 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. And that was the catalyst that introduced me to making a lifestyle change, right? And so I dropped about 20 pounds pretty quick. Took me about about 2 months, 2.5 months. And then I was talking to my life coach about, okay, now it's time. And he said, well, have you heard about semaglutide shots, right? And so a couple of friends of mine were talking about Ozempic, and it was something that I got on for 6 months, man. And that was really the accelerator that gave me the B12 shot in the arm that I needed in order to show some immediate results. That way I could really kind of stay motivated to keep up my focus and my discipline to live a life of non-gluttony, for sure.
So using the semaglutide, it basically acts as an appetite suppressant, right? So did you feel like you weren't as hungry as you used to be?
Was not as hungry. I now had the discipline that when the donuts were sitting on the counter here at the office every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, that I didn't pick one up, right? And what I found was that if I did eat some type of fried food, who knows what it would be, but it would cause this like extremely damaging like indigestion feel,
Yeah.
and to where it was like, fuck, man, I don't want to go through that,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd been off the semaglutide since January of this year, and luckily the lifestyle changes that were forced for 6 months actually stuck,
Yeah.
man.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I wasn't posting that I was popping bottles at Bisu on a Thursday night and attracting people that were attracted to that like nightlife lifestyle. I
Yeah.
was posting that I was playing pickleball.
Yeah.
I was posting that I was at the gym. And then you fast forward in August of this year, now I attracted somebody in my DMs that's a retired D1 athlete that's in grad school, 4.0 GPA, right? That prioritizes a life of nutrition and health and wellness and mental health and physical activity and physical health. And she's been an instrumental positive resource for me, right? As somebody that wants to live a life of priority in that vertical.
That's great. I tell that to a lot of people here in the gym that are looking to lose weight is just move. That's the first thing, right? So your movement was pickleball. That's great. You lost an initial 20 pounds doing pickleball. I always tell people, like, you looking to lose weight, just go on a walk. Go on a walk. Just go on a 10 to 15-minute walk. If you could do it after each meal, that would be great. But just go on
Yep.
a walk, because most people sit on their ass, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you couple that with the right nutrition. And what ends up happening is, as people start seeing progress in their body comp changing to the better, they don't ever want to go back to that old self, right? Especially somebody like yourself that's lost 77, 80 pounds. You're like, I don't ever want to fucking go back there. So I need to stay consistent with my routine. I need to stay consistent with my food and my regimen, and my workout, all of that stuff. So
Focus and discipline, man, are the
yeah,
most important components, right? Like you said, just showing up.
yeah.
I'll share another thing. So I started a podcast called the Path to Success podcast.
Okay.
And that was started, I'd say, about a year and a half ago. And another big component of me staying the course was seeing my fat ass on camera, dude. Because, when you see yourself in a photograph, maybe you can get the right angle, right? Maybe
Uh-huh.
you can wear the right clothes. Maybe you can, use a little bit of Facetune and make yourself a little bit more skinny in the fucking, throat line.
Yeah.
But video is not very forgiving, bro.
Right.
And so I started to see myself in video, and I was like, dude, I need to get my shit together. My skin, my hair, my weight,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
then that's whenever I was like, I don't want to be that person,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah. So
And I was
now,
hiding from the camera. I was hiding from the camera.
sure, sure. Yeah, no, I get it. And so how long ago that you started the podcast? A year and a half ago? How many episodes have you done?
Yeah, so we've done 16 episodes. It's something that's just I do for fun,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a great way. I came up with the idea with my life coach, where I said, man, I think I want like, successful, cooler friends, right? I'd
Mm-hmm.
kind of like outgrown the patio bar lifestyle.
Yep.
And he said, okay, well, how can you make more friends with people that are super successful? And I said, well, I'll start a podcast called The Path to Success. And it'll give me a mechanism where I could reach out to individuals that I want to strengthen friendships with and just invite them to come on as a guest on my podcast. Right. And
Sure.
so we record here and we've got a studio here at my office, Class A office space, 13,000 square feet, 40 employees, all dressed professionally. When you come to my office, you see our lobby, you see my people. There's an element of credibility
Mm-hmm.
associated with having a real company that produces the kind of revenue that we do.
Yeah.
So that elevates my credibility in the Houston community. And then you spend an hour and a half with me across the mic talking about fear, failure, regret, insecurity,
Mm-hmm.
triumph,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
That builds a tremendous amount of camaraderie. And so, man, it's really awesome that I've become such amazing friends with some of the most elite people in Houston. And one day I think that I'll have fucking LeBron James on my podcast, dude. That's a really cool part, is like, we're only getting better and better and better and better.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So do you think, because I think that's the mentality of a lot of entrepreneurs, that they think that they need to go out and they need to wine and dine like you used to, right? Do you think that you've still had the same success, better success by kind of removing yourself from that scene and putting yourself in a different path towards your success that you've done now by
That's yeah.
not whining and dining and not going out all the time?
That's a great question, right? I would say that the whining and dining was not tied to client entertainment. It was more so of me being lonely and bored
Mm,
at home,
mm,
right? And I'll share a quick thing that I read on Instagram the other day, but it was a meme that said a man without purpose will seek pleasure,
mm,
and I think that the gluttony and that very unhealthy lifestyle that I lived for about 3.5 years of being single, I think it was tied to me being lost,
sure.
right? Me not having my kids every day,
Hmm.
um, and I'd kind of lost my way. My business was essentially running on autopilot,
Hmm.
and I didn't have anything that grounded me. Where I wasn't like serving a higher purpose, right? And so I went to a legacy planning seminar in February, and it was a 6-hour experience hosted by the Petra Group. It's a coaching organization. And coming out of that seminar, I had so much clarity on what my why was, and it was really like my children. And it sounds kind of ridiculous that that wouldn't be the case before, but I had always tied my success and my brand and my image and my purpose to my company or my wealth for whatever reason, because that's what fueled me wanting more and more and more and more for so many years. And then I realized that it's really my legacy. It's my last name. It's my children becoming men of character and integrity and stewards of goodwill in the community, where I said, fuck, man, I want to get remarried and I want to have more children, dude. I want 6 motherfucking kids with my last name running out there. I want an artist. I want a musician. I want an actor. I want an MMA fighter. I want a lawyer, a doctor, a businessman,
Uh-huh.
because my last name can capitalize
Hmm.
the world,
Yeah.
man. And that's the really exciting thing of like just having this purpose. And then I reverse engineered who's the woman that's going to be this amazing partner to help me achieve all these long-term goals and vision.
Hmm.
And I started to post a lot of content that was congruent with what I wanted, and that organically attracted the right person, right?
Mm.
Which is a retired D1 swimmer, the captain of the swim and dive team at the University of Houston. She's a Polish immigrant, so you've got those Central and Eastern Europeans' traditional family values.
Yep.
She's extremely well educated, honest, genuine, kind, does not live a life of promiscuity or a life of social media where she's consumed with likes, clicks, and shares,
Yep.
right? It's that character and the great motherly qualities that I was attracted to. And it's just kind of like a bonus that she's smoking fucking hot,
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's important to recognize what is your purpose,
Hmm.
and then you kind of like put out the content that can help organically attract it, man. There's no reason for me to chase anymore because I've got an organic following to where I can pull.
Yeah. Does your organic content on social media, does it help in the people placement business? Do you get clients from that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got several mechanisms that we use. I've got my path to success. I come as a guest on podcasts quite a bit.
Mm.
I've got my lifestyle commentary. We've got videos that we produce where we're supporting charitable events and things of that nature. And so we've got a full-time digital media guy that cuts reels all day from the video content that we do. And then based on the subject matter, we determine, is this going on the Path to Success brand, the Encore Search brand, the Jeremy Jenson brand? Is it going on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn? And so we kind of curate it manually to some extent. But I would say for the most part, it creates a lot of opportunity to pull people to come work for our organization.
Yes.
Right? Because people are saying, man, he's a good fucking guy. And you don't have to be a shitbag in order to make millions of dollars a year. Let me go align with his brand and use his strategy and mechanisms in order to create sustainable wealth for my family, right?
Yep.
So we have a lot of people that want to come work for us because of social media. And then on LinkedIn, it allows me to tell stories, right? So you look at my LinkedIn post today, it was a clip from the Path to Success podcast, but I talk about Juan Zavala and our team and how he was a manager at Bath and Body Works and was in retail management for 11 years, making 75 grand. And he took a step back on salary in order to invest in himself. And now he's making six figures in his third year in the business, right? And by me having a mechanism to share that story, I think so many people can relate to that, whether they walked away from a career in restaurant management or retail management to go into a B2B environment, or they started their own business. And that creates a tremendous amount of rapport, right? By me having a mechanism where I could just tell true stories all day, right? No one gives a shit if I go on LinkedIn and I post, I own a recruiting firm, please contact me if you need recruiting services.
Yep. Right.
But if I tell a story on how I solved a problem for Clorox, right, for JB Hunt, for Coca-Cola, for Honeywell, our enterprise clients, then that creates several things. Jeremy's a problem solver and he works with very big companies. So I don't need to tell you that I want to recruit for you, because by the time you DM me, you're already sold.
Yep. I say that all the time. If you're an entrepreneur in today's day and age, you got to get yourself a media guy. You got to get yourself a videographer that can edit and put together reels and help create content and all that stuff, because that is where everybody's eyeballs are. And in fact, my good friend Rich Summers, that's his motto. So Rich does boutique hotel investment and multifamily investment. And so he went to social media. He started with he had like 4,000 followers. Like he didn't really take social media seriously. And now he's got 200,000 followers because he was just like, one day he was like, I'm going all in. So he would post every single day. He would put out educational content or lifestyle content or explaining business or explaining investments. But every single day he was posting something. And he said, now it's to the point now where the business is somewhat on autopilot. And my only role, even though I'm CEO and founder, my only role is content creation. That is it.
That's Alex Hormozy's role.
Yep.
That's my role. I mean, that is 100% the most scalable role that we can play in the organization, because our content can give us an opportunity to control whatever narrative we want to control, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's awesome. I mean, look at Grant Cardone, right? I mean, you know, he's in that space where he's aggregating 50K at a time times a million. Well, guess what? That's a lot of fucking investment capital.
Yeah. I started following Grant, you know, when I think he only had 500 million in real estate, and now he's got 4 billion. He's got over 4 billion in real estate, all from social media.
That's just his personal. That's his personal.
Right.
I mean, you look at what his companies, what they've been able to broker in order to, you know, I mean, that guy, you know, he almost wrote the book. Right. On that game right there.
Yeah,
for sure.
Totally. It's a whole different world, man. I can remember when I first bought the gyms and I was marketing the gyms, we were sending mailers out. And mailers are fucking outrageous, right? It was a volume game. You'd have to send out 50,000 mailers. They'd cost you 35 cents a piece. So you're spending $15,000 to $25,000 a month and hoping to get 1% return, right? And now it's completely the other way.
Dude, I'm going to share a little story, right? And it's not a mailer, but I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs are missing the boat on, they've already done the customer acquisition, but they're not monetizing it after the first transaction. Okay. So this was a couple months ago. I had a 23-year-old kid knock on my door. Right. And he said, Mr. Jenson, right now we're cleaning your neighbor's windows on the street, street up from you. And my business partner, we started the business whenever we graduated from Ole Miss, right? Here's a picture of us. And instead of going into corporate America, we started a business. He washes the windows and I knock on doors. And I was wondering if you'd be interested in us washing your windows today. It usually costs $350, right? But because we're already in your neighborhood, we'll do it for $250 if you do it today. I said, okay, right? That motherfucker could have told me $500. I just respected the hustle,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so he washed my windows and they did a good fucking job. But a month later, I got a text message from him and said, hey, we're going to be in your neighborhood again. Would you like us to do it again? We'll honor the same price for $250. I said, I just looked at my windows. They're good. Reach out to me next month. Guess what? They reached out to me the next month. And I said, yeah, sure. Come by on Monday. And they came out of Monday of this week.
Huh.
And it's like, they've already acquired the customer.
Yeah.
And by just having an automated mechanism that's drip marketing and reaching out to everyone,
Yep.
he was able to capture something that's probably what, 50% gross margin?
Yeah. Right.
You know?
Right.
And that does two things. That gets him someone washing windows and then another person knocking doors in my neighborhood again, right?
Yep.
And so how many people would have washed the windows one time and never would have reached out again? It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're 100% right. In fact, I just posted a reaction reel to some kid. I think he was like 19 years old or something like that. But he was explaining how he does his real estate wholesaling. 19, Jeremy, 19. Most 19-year-olds are sitting in their basement playing video games. This kid was going on sheriff sales site, assessor site, tax sale sites. He'd acquire these properties and he'd already have another buyer lined up on the other end. He had this whole system put in place. He'd go out and he would scout the properties, and then he'd have somebody that would buy it on the back end, and he would make himself, 10, 20, maybe 30 grand per property by just connecting the dots.
Yep. Can't coach hustle, baby.
No, you can't. It's a personality.
Yeah.
I have recently realized that I think it's just some people are just born with that hustle.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, I think I became successful because I'm good at not hustling. I'm a little bit lazy, man, but I'm really smart.
Yeah.
So by finding resources that can do drip marketing and automation and things of that nature, by reverse engineering, how do I get more views? How do I get more clicks? How do I get more conversion? How can I focus on the top of my funnel, right? From an economy of scale standpoint, it allows me to work as very little as possible, but get a massive return on the production that I yield, right?
Yeah.
And when you look at the 40 employees that we have today, I mean, hell, it could have been real easy for me to be like me and 4 people and keep it small and hustle and grind, making $1 million a year, thinking that I was successful.
Yeah.
But it was like, I don't want to fucking do this shit. I want to hire someone. I don't want to fucking do this shit. I want to hire someone.
Yep.
And so it's almost like the laziness led to my scalability because I knew that I was always going to be the bottleneck if it was waiting on me to make the call.
Yeah.
Or me to show up to the meeting or me to cut the reel.
Absolutely. I mean, it goes back to that book, Who Not How. No, Who Not How. It's all putting the people on the right seats on the bus, right? If most entrepreneurs, especially small business owners, they have the mindset where they think they got to do everything. They got to wear all the hats. And I understand sometimes, especially when you're first starting off, you might have to do that. But, and it takes a lot of capital, like you're saying, to hire these folks. But that should be the first thing that you're doing when you're making money. The money shouldn't go back into your pocket. It should go back into the business to be able to hire the people, to free up more of your time, to keep scaling and growing the business.
Absolutely. Which was easy for me. I mean, don't give me all the credit, man. I was married for 10 years to a petroleum engineer at BP, right? Yeah. So she's fucking killing the game, making 6 figures when we were 25 years old. And so we kind of just lived off her salary for the first 3 or 4 years. And then I was able to reinvest all the profits into growing. And unfortunately, I made some pretty selfish, irreparable decisions in my marriage that ultimately led to my divorce. But now I had a very successful company, right, that was printing 7 figures in EBITDA every year to where even if my lifestyle is costing $500,000, $600,000 a year, I was still able to reinvest 7 figures back into the business.
Yeah, that's great. That's the dream. That's the American dream right there.
I mean, it's hard to spend more than $500,000 a year, bro. I don't know how motherfuckers do it, to be honest.
I don't know. I think I could do it. I'd have a garage. My only vice in life is cars. I love cars. So I'd have a pole barn full of awesome cars.
Let me tell you what I got. I think I have the best of everything.
Okay.
Okay.
Hit me with
So
it.
my daily, I have a 2024 BMW M8 competition.
Okay.
Right. So an M8, it's about 150. When I have my kids, I've got a 2024 Ford Raptor, right? And that's like the cool dad truck,
Yep.
right? And then, when I want to flex, I pull out the 2023 Ferrari F8 Tributo.
Nice.
Right.
Nice.
And then recently got my girlfriend a nice little BMW X3.
Hell yeah.
Right. So the point is I don't know if I need a Lambo or a Rolls Royce. Hell, even the Ferrari doesn't get enough miles on it right now, dude.
Yeah.
Because I love that fucking M8 so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
0 to 60, 2.8 seconds. Because it's heavy, man, I could take a turn going 100 miles an hour and not even feel it. And you know what my license plate says, baby? Fast Dad. I embraced my 4 doors, man.
Yeah.
And it was all inspired because I had an Audi R8 before I got the Ferrari. And my youngest son, he said, Daddy, I want to ride in your race car. I can't drive a little fucking kid in an Audi R8. And so that's whenever I went to an M5 competition with 4 doors. And I said, I don't want to feel like a dad. I said, I'm going to get a license plate that says Fast Dad. And I'll own it.
That's hilarious. Yeah, that's a good lineup, man. I'm a little bit more old school though. Like I'm like 70 Cuda. I love that.
Love it.
That's my favorite. Yeah. That's my favorite car. Then I go to a 69 Camaro.
Okay.
I actually bought when I was 15 years old. I had to beg my parents. I bought a 53 Buick Riv convertible.
I don't even know what that is, dude. That predates my capability. Yeah.
It's a boat, but it's badass. Okay. I was going to turn it into a sled, right? And I soon realized how much it fucking costs to rebuild a car. So that thing has been sitting in the barn since I was 16 years old, basically. I think I worked on it until I was like 16 or 17, and it's been there ever since. So my goal, before I turn 50 is to get that thing flipped around and customized and built out. Well,
you might be surprised on how easy it is to achieve that goal. And so you might want to do something about that.
You think so?
Come on, bro.
Dude, are you familiar with Roadster Shop? Are you familiar with that custom shop?
I am not. Where is it at? Is it in Oklahoma or where?
No, it's in Illinois. It's in Mundelein, Illinois. Joe Rogan has had a few of his cars built there. They build phenomenal cars, okay? Like beautiful, beautiful cars. So I just for shits and giggles, one day I called him up. I'm like, hey, I know this is a really hard question to ask, but I'm going to ask it. I just want to get an idea. I said, I got a 53 Buick that I've had sitting in the garage for years. And my dream is to get this thing turned into a badass custom. How much do you think it would cost to rebuild it? And they're like, man, that's a hard question to answer. They said, it really depends on what you want to do. They said, but you're probably at a minimum $250,000. I was like,
wow, why? Why is that? Why is that? I don't know why that would be the case.
Because of all the labor that goes into customizing it, the body work that's done, the framework, a brand new engine, suspension, all new interior,
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous. Yeah. No, the resto mods that I see. So for a while, I was looking at the 68 to 72 Chevy Nova.
Yep.
And, a Chevelle is probably a little bit too big for me, and a Camaro is probably a little bit too small. But I was looking at like 70, 80. I thought that was pretty reasonable for a full-scale resto mod with an LS2,
Yeah.
But
the muscle cars are a little bit easier to do because a lot of their stuff is produced in bulk, right? The resto mod parts are produced in bulk. Everything on a 53 Buick has got to be customized.
There, that's what makes it. Well, you might want to just let that motherfucker sit in the barn and let that be one of your son's projects. After your ass is long gone.
No, man, I got it. It's my
teach him how to make money, and then that way he can spend the $250.
I'm telling you, man, that's my goal is to get that thing done and redone before I'm 50, man. That's my goal.
Yeah.
Well, and then I'm going to snap a picture and I'm going to text it to you and be like, look what I did.
There you go.
Yeah, man.
Easy peasy.
So where's the business headed going forward? You still trying to scale and grow?
Yeah, great question, man. So at our height, we were about 44 employees. 2022 was a badass fucking year, man. With all the PPP money and ERC money that infused into the economy, so many different companies were hiring, and it was really a money grab for us for about 2 years. And this year we've had to skinny down a little bit, right? We're starting to walk away from some low margin business and really focus on going up market. Last year, 2023, our average fee was 54,000. This year, our average fee is 68,000. My goal is to get that up to the average fee being about 80, 85. And so what that's going to force us to do is to go up market, right? Start working with private equity and venture capital firms, right? Once they put in that $50 million in growth capital into that manufacturing or industrial distribution company, now they don't need to just hire a CFO or a VP of sales, right? They need to hire a CFO, a VP of sales, some product line managers, maybe an engineering manager, a chief marketing officer, and 2 salespeople.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? That one client now is $300,000 or $400,000 in recruiting fees.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And when you're working with the private equity firms, they bring you business 2-3 times a year because of all the deals that they're acquiring.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And so really going up market and leaning into those centers of influence, those people that can be repeat buyers, as opposed to spending so much money on cost of customer acquisition with the people that are only going to buy from you once.
Yeah.
Right. And so we're willing to throw huge parties, $50,000 parties where we can get, 50 people from that space in the room. Right. We're willing to buy tickets to support their charity galas in order to get the VIP table right next to them at the charitable gala. Right. And showing up in the F8 with the license plate that says ESP CEO, and it's causing all the little chatter at the gala to say, whose F8 is that? And they point to that guy and say, what does that guy fucking do?
Yeah.
Right. Where it's all marketing. It's all marketing, Bo.
Yep. 100%. So are you able to attract that type of clientele through a lot of your social media with the organic content you're doing?
No, it's not, has nothing to do with social media, but what the social media does is it gives me a mechanism that establishes me as a presence in the community where I've got tens of thousands of people that says, oh yeah, Jeremy Jenson is exactly who he says that he is. Right. So even though the guy who I got the meeting with, that's the managing partner of SCF Capital Partners in Houston, Texas, does not know who I am from social media, but I'm sitting there on a Thursday night at Steak 48 and 3 people walk up to me and they say, hey, Jeremy, I love your content, man. Keep it up. And I'm at a business dinner with this guy. And then that increases his comfort level to want to work with us.
Sure.
Because of the trust, rapport, and credibility that the brand establishes. So it does nothing for us to get the lead. It requires hard work, right? And intentionality in order to secure the meeting. But what it does is it increases the conversion rate throughout the funnel, because as they start to ask around and click around, they're like, oh yeah, Encore Search. They've got the awards that says who the fuck that they say they are.
Yeah, that's awesome. Dude, I'm just going to hire you as my marketing manager. What the hell?
Let's go, bro. It's a full-time job doing my own. Damn.
Jeremy, dude, you're awesome, man. I really appreciate you coming on. I love your story. Where can people find you?
LinkedIn is the #1 resource to reach out to me, man. It's just my name, Jeremy Jenson, Jenson. I've got a little goat next to my name. That's a self-proclaimed moniker that I have in my industry. And then if you want to follow the social life, you can follow me on Instagram at Jeremy Jenson. And I've got a little blue check mark that I pay Meta $12 a month for.
So do I, man. So do I. All right, man. Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. And if anyone wants to reach out to Jeremy, be sure to check out the show notes.
Awesome, brother.